What's going on, guys? This is Dave from PNP, and I'm here to talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. I just want to remind you that it's the easiest place to play. There ain't too many places where you can win 20 times your money in the same night, utilizing higher lowers in the pick'em game. And now they have pick'em insurance, where while you won't win the same amount of money that you did before, you can miss one and still bring home some money. So if you do it 3 times, you can potentially still get your money back if you end up missing one. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up today and use the code PNP when you do. And the $100 deposit match still stands. Underdog Fantasy. What's going on, guys? This is Dave, one half of PNP. This is Dave's Fantasy Hour. I don't have too many topics today. I didn't see too much from preseason for me to get a yay or a nay. There was some news that came out today, which might have some fantasy implications, depending on what happens to a particular player. But overall, I mean, it's pretty much status quo. So I'm here to take your questions, talk a little bit of draft strategy, and I might, for Underdog Fantasy, show you the best ball draft and how that works. And I want to give you guys a heads up on the some of the PNP drafts that we have available. So if you guys are interested, I got a few slots available in the redraft. Not too many left, but I do have a bunch available on the Dynasty League. Both of them are $50 buy-ins. The Dynasty Draft, the Dynasty League, there's a level of commitment that's past one season. So just keep that in mind. The redraft is just a 1-year thing. We just cycle it up, and then people can come and go. But for Dynasty, it's a much longer commitment than just one season. Both leagues will be PPR. Still debating on whether or not the Dynasty League is going to be a super flex or not. But both are 12-team leagues. So just if you're interested, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I do have a few slots. Matter of fact, just hit me up on Twitter. My handle's right here. Just send me a DM if you're interested in some of the final slots that I have. And I will tweet it as well. With that being said, so let's get into some of the skinny when it comes to draft strategies and things of that sort. But before we get into that, please, ma'am, please, sir, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. The bottom line is, so it looks like Jonathan Taylor's requested a trade today. And I'm very fascinated to see what teams could be interested in him. I know there's some folks asking about Carolina. I'm like, why? For who? For what? We just signed our guy, but, it'll be fascinating to see where he ends up, because I think it boils down to him getting paid. And I don't know if he's going to really go somewhere, so to speak, that's going to give him the money that he wants. But maybe he's just frustrated with the organization. I mean, that comment that Jim Irsay said about you come and go, saying we're going to be here regardless. I mean, that would be stinging to a player. But that being said, it is what it is. But when you start talking about how to handle Jonathan Taylor, I'm more intrigued to draft him now than I was before. When he took his leave of absence, that gave me some level of pause, from the standpoint of whether or not he's a viable candidate to draft. But now that it looks like he's going to end up getting traded, I think he's going to get a different level of opportunity now, and I think the Colts are ready to move on from him. But now it makes the backfield for the Colts interesting. I believe Deion Jackson's the next up with the Colts. I got to double check that. But yeah, it would definitely make it interesting from that standpoint. But either way, so when we talk about draft strategies, for me, the first thing you have to take into consideration when you come to draft strategies is the type of league that you're in. Because depending on the type of league, that's going to be a factor in how you rank players. PPR leagues have a different perspective than non-PPR leagues from that standpoint. Typically, though, the first couple rounds, there should be running backs and wide receivers. And this year, more than most, wouldn't be shocked that your first round is going to be more heavy on the wide receiver side. Like, from my opinion, the top 2 players in fantasy football are both wide receivers, particularly in PPR leagues. So when you take that into account, that is a strategy you definitely should instill from that standpoint. And it's funny you say that because I do have, in one of the leagues that I'm in, I have the number 1 overall pick. and I think it's pretty clear who I'm going to end up taking with the number one overall pick. Even though this league is a half point PPR, but I don't think that's going to change my strategy about who to take. I mean, the top two wide the top two. This is a great question. What is your draft strategy for dynasty leagues? It can be. I think in the early rounds, not so much. More dynasty leagues tend to be super flex, so that tends to have more quarterbacks. But the big thing about dynasty leagues is when you look into the dynasty league, you have to start thinking past just this year. So there's some players that's going to be slower on your board than they would be in a redraft league. For example, we'll use Aaron Rodgers as an example, or Russell Wilson. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson will probably get drafted higher in a redraft league than a dynasty league because it's about past the following season. And in dynasty leagues, you sometimes draft players that might not necessarily going to play this year, like a Hendon Hooker. Like in a redraft league, you wouldn't draft a Hendon Hooker because you know he's not going to play this year. But a Hendon Hooker or a Will Levis, guys that you don't think that are going to be available week one, you'll be more inclined to draft in later rounds in dynasty leagues. But it's about thinking about past this season. But when it comes to the positions that you need, you still got to go running back heavy, wide receiver heavy. But you have to start thinking about long term. So Ghost Daddy's saying, all right, I usually like to draft the best tight end. There's only one tight end. It's Travis Kelce and everybody else. And Travis Kelce's a top 5 pick this year. So when we talk about redraft versus dynasty, in redraft, Travis Kelce's a top 5 pick. In dynasty, he probably won't go into the second round because now you got to take his age into account, right? Because dynasty leagues could last 5 to 10 years. So it all depends on that's where the strategy changes. You have to take into account of how long somebody's been in the league. Somebody like a Stephon Diggs that would have a first round grade in a redraft league would have a second or a third round grade in a dynasty league because of his age. He's been in the league for 9 years. You tend to leverage more. You tend to go with more younger talent. There's some folks that'll go higher in redraft leagues. I mean, in dynasty leagues, and that wouldn't go as high in redraft because of that. Because you got to take the age into account of how many years they've been in the league and things of that sort. Average running back lasts 4 years. So you can kind of use them as lottery tickets later in the draft too. Like right now, I'm in a slow draft dynasty league, and we're going through the draft right now. You're 8 hours per pick. I think we're in round 21. So hopefully by the end of the week, that draft will be over with. But it's there's a lot of different types of ways of thinking about it. Like my last pick was Stetson Bennett. He's the backup quarterback for the Rams. So a slow draft is basically, and this is my first time doing a slow draft, so basically you give folks 8 hours a pick so they can just make the pick when they want to. More likely to have trades. You know what I'm saying? And we've had a few. I've made a trade. You can trade picks. So it gives time for folks to negotiate trades and things of that sort. Most folks tend to get their pick in within the first 2 hours. Sometimes it drags a little longer than that. But that's the purpose. But the thing about a slow draft is that you got to start earlier. Like we started this draft about a week and a half ago. So it's been a war. It's been almost 2 weeks now. It's been a war of attrition. But, it's been fun. But hopefully the draft will end this week. There's 23 rounds, so we're in the home stretch. I mean, I got a list of how many of the players that I want, but I've been getting sniped, man. Like I was planning on taking Bailey Zappi, and he went to pick before me. That was very demoralizing. Cause I think that's a dynasty type of pick. I believe that Bailey Zappi is going to take over the job from Mac Jones. So long term, Bailey Zappi should be if I'm correct, Bailey Zappi is the quarterback of the future for the Patriots. So drafting him is more of a long-term play versus a short-term play. So when you do a dynasty league, you got to decide, you got to have a hybrid of long-term versus short-term. So you got to take those things into account. Ten-team half PPR, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. It all depends on where your pick is. I've never been a fan of taking a quarterback high unless the value's there. Like Mahomes has been going into like the third round. So if Mahomes gets taken in the third round, and he's typically the second or the third quarterback taken, if there's a good reason to do it. Like I just recently drafted Mahomes in my 10-team league. Well, yeah, I did the live draft last week where I had the opportunity to pair him with Kelsey. I took Kelsey with the first round pick. So it's funny you say that, but to finish, let me finish answer your question before I go to more. So to answer your question, checking like decide how you want to handle your quarterbacks. You can get good quarterbacks late. Like you can get Kirk Cousins late. You can get certain quarterbacks late. You're not going to get Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes late. But I don't want to take one of those guys until the third round, in my opinion. I'm not interested in that. I would rather build my running backs, my wide receivers, and my flex before I go after a quarterback. But sometimes it all depends on where the board is. Sometimes you gotta play the board too. If you see like 6 quarterbacks being taken within the first 4 rounds, then you gotta make a decision. A lot of times when that happens with me, I make the decision to just wait. Because the guys I want, there's no point. Because I'm not a fan of reaching for players. So I've never been a fan of reaching for players, and that's probably what might have got me in trouble in this dynasty draft that I'm in now. Because in the first round there was 10 quarterbacks taken before it got to me. So I made the decision, or 9. Was it 9 quarterbacks? I think it was 9. So I made the decision to not take a quarterback at that point because I felt like, nah, I'm good. I can go get I could pick the top running back for dynasty, which for me is Bijan Robinson. And then I was able to go back around and get Christian McCaffrey in the second. So I made the decision that I'm just going to have to figure out quarterback later, and eventually I got to it. Typically a dynasty league is more rounds than a non-dynasty than a redraft. So like I'm probably gonna do, depending on how you have it set up, like I think I'm probably gonna do 23 rounds, and that's a long time, bro. I would, if you want to get it done in one day, if you want to get it done in a sitting, and you can get everybody committed to be there for the full sitting, then because you want everybody there since it's the dynasty league, because these are the plays that these guys got to keep. This not because by the time you're done with the dynasty league, the wire is the wire. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna really have any good players worth taking in the wire. The players are who you have, and then you got to trade with other league members. So if you're gonna do it all in one sitting, then I mean you can give folks a minute or two a pick. But otherwise, you can do a slow draft. If you do an hour, it's tough. I understand why folks do 8, but the thing about at this point to try to do an 8-hour slow draft, it would take a long time, and you might run out of runway. So I will probably just try to make it happen in one sitting, bro. Give everybody a minute per pick and go with God. But try to do it early in the night because it could take 3 to 4 hours. Like that 10-team draft that I was in, it was 16 rounds, minute per pick. We were done in about an hour and a half. But folks are going to probably use more of their time with that regard. And I understand why people do slow drafts in Dynasty because people might want to trade. You ain't going to be able to trade when you only got a minute per pick. So the pick you have is the pick you have. Unless you do trades prior to the draft starting. So you can give them 2 minutes per pick. That gives them a little bit more time. But even then, it's probably hard to put a trade off. So I understand why folks do a slow draft. I learned that because I was able to do a trade. So it all depends on how you balance it. So I didn't completely answer your question, but you need ask the league members if they're really serious about doing trades. Because if they do, you might have to do 4 hours a pick or something like that. But most of the time, even in my slow draft, folks didn't utilize that full time limit. Because I thought about doing 4 hours for mine. But I don't, you got to be sensitive to the folks that people are working. Like I made folks wait the longest today, and that was like 2 hours. I was at work, so I didn't have time to go put my picks in. But, you know, I ain't going to lie. I've been the first to go QB and took Pat Mahomes in the first 3 rounds every year in the last 3 years. So did you win? Because taking a quarterback early doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win it. Because a lot of times when you take a quarterback early, that means you might be sacrificing a different position. So it all depends on how you want to look at it. But I got the first pick in a league that I've been in for over a decade. And one thing I learned about that league, and I don't care if they see this, one thing I learned about that league that I'm in is that they like to do runs. And me having the first pick can dictate runs. So I'm not tripping off that. What up, man? Let's see. Let's see here if I missed any questions. But that's that when it comes to like when you talk about strategizing your board, because when you start looking into how to handle runs, I tend to veer away from them. That's just me because I've always felt like, well, folks are getting unless I'm at the top, unless I'm starting the run, which is what I prefer. I prefer to be the guy that starts the run, not the guy that continues the run. That's the best way to put it. I'd rather be the guy that creates the trend than follow it. It all depends on where I'm at on the board. Like I have a board of players of like who I have ranked. Historically, I normally go running back first round. This year, wide receiver wouldn't be a bad idea, particularly in a PPR league, especially if you can get somebody like a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase or a Cooper Kupp. First 3 to 4 picks is typically when I try to build my foundation. Like I try to get my running backs and my wide receivers filled with those slots. That's why I'm not a big fan of taking a quarterback early. Now, there's opportunity to get certain guys, like a Travis Kelce, that I would try to get a Travis Kelce. But I always got to remember that you're sacrificing something else, so the value's got to be there to do it. But I sometimes treat Travis Kelce as another wide receiver one. I always treat Travis Kelce as a wide receiver one because that's how efficient he is in that offense in Kansas City. But it all depends on the league that you're in. But one thing that I like to do, I like to gain an advantage somewhere. And I want to be able to have an advantage somewhere every week. So I'm willing to take a hit on certain positions if I'm confident that I can build an advantage somewhere else every single week. And if I can build an advantage at the running back or the wide receiver position, that's optimal. If I can have a combination like a Stephon Diggs and an AJ Brown or running backs, if I can get something like a Austin Eckler and a Saquon Barkley, like if I can build an advantage every single week, that's what I want to do. And sometimes one of the biggest advantages is having a Travis Kelce at tight end. But when you make the decision to take him in the first round, which what I did, I could pull up the draft that I did last week to show you what I'm talking about. You're gonna take a hit somewhere else, or you possibly could take a hit somewhere else, and that's fine. But you have to remember, you got to be confident of the advantage that you have. Travis Kelce is the ultimate advantage getter because there's no tight end that's going to be as consistent as him week to week. None. Not Mark Andrews, not Kyle Pitts, nobody. Like, there's a reason why Travis Kelce has a first round grade in my book because he is an advantage. I treat him like a wide receiver one. So if you potentially could get multiple wide receiver ones, why not? Let me see if I can pull my draft up real fast. Let me see. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, guys. This was a 10-team PPR. This was the league from last week. What pick did I have on this league? I think I had was it the 5th pick I had? Let me see. Draft recap. Yeah, I had the 5th pick in this draft. All right, so let me do a quick share. I'm gonna be honest, man. I've won leagues doing 0 RB, but you can be heavy there, but then you're gonna take a very big risk at wide receiver. So you got to pick your poison with regards to that. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so here's my This is the league. This is the league from last Thursday. I did a live stream on it. You can watch the live stream if you want. Let me see if I do it by. Let's see. Oh, I can't switch it by team, so let me just pull up my squad. I had the 5th pick, so I took Travis Kelce, Garrett Wilson, and then I took Mahomes in the 3rd. But my running back's Gibbs. I could have took Keenan Allen. I thought about it, but I decided against it. All right, but let's see here by team. Let's do that. Let's see, where's my guys at? Where's my guys? There's my guys. So there's my squad right there. Let me see if I can blow this up so you guys can actually see it. All right, so Midnight Marauders is my squad. So that's not a bad combination. If you took 3 running backs to have Waddle as your wide receiver 1, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all, to be honest with you. That's not bad at all. So it all, so when you make the decision to go that route, that's what you have to figure out. Shout out to Snowman for the super chat. Appreciate it, Austin. But yeah, so for me, I took Kelce, then I took Garrett Wilson, then I decided to take Mahomes in the 3rd round. This is a 10-team league too, guys. So I made the decision to go that route. And then I took Gibbs and Pierce. Little risky at running back, but I'm willing to take that risk. Then I took McLaurin. So I made at that point, I decided I'm gonna do 3 wide receivers. So you got to start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. So I made a decision that my wide receivers is gonna be my flex play for this league, which is fine. Deontay Johnson. I like the Deontay Johnson pick because, fun fact, he didn't have a single touchdown last year. I think he was like the first wide receiver to have more than 85 catches and no touchdowns. So I'm thinking that should be higher, and I still think he's going to get the target share. Even with George Pickens there, I think he's going to still get the target share needed. So I made a decision to go heavy wide receiver after round 5, and then I went from there. Charbonnet is more of a luxury pick, and so is Rashad Penny. And I decided to go with a backup quarterback. See if Anthony Richardson is somebody that's going to be interesting. And because I didn't like the other players that were there, so I said, you know what, Richardson's there in the 14th round, I'll take him. But once again, right, we're talking, I was able to get Anthony Richardson with the 136th pick. So that's a guy that has top 10 quarterback potential. And I got him in the 14th round. And we can look at some of the other teams here. Like my man here went running back early. And still got Joe Burrow in the 4th, so that's pretty good. But then his wide receivers, but he got DJ Moore in the 6th, that was good value right there. So it all depends on how you look at it. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm the champion in this league, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes this year. I played second a few times in that league, but I finally broke one. But yeah. But, when you look at, projections are projections, but I think I projected to be the highest score that week for week 1. But projections are projections, right? So it's all in perspective. The thing that's rough is that I got the Thursday night game. I've never been a big fan of the Thursday nighter, so it is what it is. But But the good thing about having the opening day game is that sometimes people react. So since I got the opener, I got a few. Matter of fact, I think I got a few players going on Thursday night if I remember correctly, because I think they're playing Detroit if I remember. Aren't they playing Detroit? Yes, they are. They're playing Detroit. So I got 3 players going on Thursday night on opening day. So it'll be interesting. See how it goes. I have a vested interest to watch besides the fact that football's back. But we'll see how it goes when it's time to rock. But I like my squad the way it is right now. But everybody likes this squad after a draft. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see here. That's a fact. If you can get a combo like this, and if you decide to go 0 RB, there's nothing wrong with that. Because let's pull. I'm gonna pull this draft up again. Put it back up real quick. Let me see. Let's pull up the draft recap real quick. If you made a decision to not take a running back until like the 5th round, for example, Damian Pierce, Alexander Madison, Rashad White, Miles Sanders. Not a bad gig. And then you could come back around and potentially get a James Conner or a Kenneth Walker. It's not a bad gig. So it's all in perspective of how you want to build your roster. Because if you go zero RB and maybe you decide to take a quarterback in between, you might do all right. So it all depends on how you build that roster. I mean, it always ultimately boils down to that. So it all depends on how you want to build it. Why did they not keep me signed in? That's odd. Oh, because that's why. I'm using Chrome. That'll do it. All right. I want to show you guys some underdog fantasy stuff. I'm gonna probably do a best ball league while I'm in here. I want to show you some underdog fantasy stuff too. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy, man. They've been great to us. And I know folks have had questions about best ball and weekly winners. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. I'm a big fan of weekly winners. Weekly winners is like a best ball contest, but you get paid every week. All right? You get paid. If you're one of the highest scorers, you get paid on a week-to-week basis. So you can win $20,000 each week. Or you can potentially win your money back each week. So it's a pretty good gig. I can't complain. And they pay every week. You can potentially make $20,000. So I'm gonna do a league right now while we wait for it to fill up. If you guys got more questions, I got more answers for you because the draft is probably gonna take like 30 to 45 minutes. So I'll take questions as we go. But I wanted to show that it's a $15 buy-in. You can do as many as you want until you're maxed out, and you can make some pretty decent money on it. So you know it's pretty cool gig. Let's see. Looking to see what I'm doing here. Become a Patreon, man. Like you can become a free agent, a franchise. Oh, I got the 4th pick. Or MVP. Fourth pick means I'm probably gonna end up with Kelsey. Maybe McCaffrey. You never know. But for those who don't know what best ball is basically you draft a squad. I think this one's 18 rounds. 18 round draft. You draft your team. I believe it's quarterback. You got to start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a flex, and a tight end. But you also draft a bench. But instead of you having to make the decision of who used to start every week, it does it for you. So if you draft 2 quarterbacks, the highest score is the one that they're going to count. If you draft 4 running backs, they'll take the top 2. And because you don't change your roster the entire way. So injuries, it's a war of attrition from that standpoint when it's a season-long type of best baller deal. That's why I like the weekly winners, because you could potentially make money every single week, and you can make up to $20,000 a week. I won't be able to do a collab, and I love Roar the Lions Grandizer, but I'm going to be out of town. I'm flying into Atlanta for the MEAC Swag Challenge, so I might not be able to do a collab on Friday. I know I won't be able to. I'll be flying. All right, I'm on the clock. I'm taking Kelsey. And I got a while before my next pick, so I would love to do. I love those guys, but Friday's tough. I'm flying in Thursday, and I got a pretty busy schedule on Friday already. Before the MEAC Swag Challenge, with Jackson State versus South Carolina State. And I didn't know preseason wins matter. Sorry, guys. I didn't know preseason wins matter. I don't need a win. I just want our offensive line to look good, and I want Bryce Young to score a touchdown. I don't need a win. It's not a when it comes to preseason, it's not wins and losses. I'm more concerned about what the trenches look like. I'm more concerned about what the team looks like. I don't need a win. These games don't count from that standpoint. It's about performance for me. What? What? It's preseason, man. There's only one team. There's only one NFL team that cares about winning in the preseason. That's the Ravens, and they've proven that it does matter. Nah, you know what? Hope? No. I want to win when the season starts. Not in fantasy football. I play to win in that, but in the preseason, it's more about evaluating the players. It's not about wins and losses from that standpoint. It's about what you see with what you see with the players that you have. It's always been that way. We've seen teams go 4-0 in the preseason and go winless in the regular season. I need my guys and gals to win when it counts. So I need to see more about what's happening with the offensive line, and go from there. I'm not like people are like, well, people want to be in full-fledged panic, and some people think I've been panicked so far, but from my perspective, I haven't really panicked. I'm just not impressed with what I've seen with the offensive line so far, and that is bothering considering who we need to protect. We just drafted a quarterback, so that's what I'm trying my best to get clear. Like I probably won't be able to watch the game live. I'll probably have to watch the tape later, but I'll hear all about it on Twitter, because or X, Twitter or X, whatever we want to do. I'll hear all about it on Twitter or X because I'll have an idea. All right, my pick is coming up. Chubb, Pollard, Devontae. I might have to pick at a litter of quarterbacks. Oh, if they let me get Mahomes, that's interesting. Will I get Mahomes? If I can pair up Kelsey with Mahomes, I'm not complaining. I've done it a few times. I don't think Mahomes is going to make it to me. He took hers, so that means Mahomes is going to go. Give me Mahomes. 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 See? Give me Mahomes. Give me Mahomes. Give me Mahomes. That's true. If you want hope, go to church. All right. Go ahead and get Mahomes out get Mahomes out the paint here. Kelsey to Mahomes, baby. Kelsey to Mahomes. Kind of shocked. A lot of times folks will put the block in for that. 0. If we're trading for Jonathan Taylor, that tells me that the Miles Sanders injury is worse than we thought. Why do we need Jonathan Taylor? And are we going to pay Jonathan Taylor? He wants to get paid. Nobody learns from paying running backs in Panthers history. I don't want to do a whole history lesson on that. 0%. Stop the madness. Why would we go after Jonathan Taylor? That's ridiculous. I'm going to be honest. That's ridiculous. What's the point? Please explain. What's the point of picking up a running back that wants to get paid? Why? We just paid one. It doesn't make any sense. Does not compute. 0%. 0. Yeah, that's not the squad, man. The Ravens care about preseason. One thing the Ravens care about is preseason. You know what? I want to have fun. Let's have fun. Let's have fun. Let's have fun. I want to have fun today. I want to see what happens. I want to have fun. I took Josh Allen. I want to have fun. I like fun. because fun is fun. This is a different type of zero RB. I might regret that decision later, but let's have fun. Since he was sitting there. So let's have fun. I tend to do some. I do a lot of best ball leagues. I probably try to do like 2 to 3 a week. So I always try some crazy stuff. Another one I took Mahomes and I think I took Josh Allen and Justin Fields. So you know, keep an advantage of quarterback every week. But let's have fun. Fun, fun, fun. I don't want to run a 2 running back system because we got to pay both of them because we already paid one. We tend to do that. Like we make these debates about what we should do. Yeah, we always make these debates about what we should do. But nah, I don't want no. I think somebody's gonna pay Taylor. I just don't think it's gonna be us. Somebody's always gonna pay Taylor. I I just don't understand why people. I just don't see why people think that we're in the running for him. It just doesn't make any sense. Like we signed Miles Sanders, excuse me, Miles Davis. We signed Miles Sanders. Why are we looking at Jonathan Taylor? But I mean, well, no, never mind. We're in on every deal, so that's why. Unless the Miles Sanders injury is worse than we thought, which is a whole different discussion. So no, it wasn't. And they didn't think he fit the scheme. But I know folks are panicking. Like I saw that McCall got cut, and we're gonna talk about all this tomorrow. I saw that McCall got cut, and I was like, oh, they are really cleaning house over here. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't like fully digested that move yet, but I know tomorrow when me and Rashad start discussing it, it's going to be an interesting discussion because there's other people that possibly could have been let go. But then again, if it all depends how you look at it. But they had to let go of somebody to pick somebody up, right? That's typically how it works. Classic, loved it. If you know, you know. Shout out to Grandizer. Uh, I'm looking at these wide receivers, man. It's looking kind of ugly on these wide receiver streets. I'm so glad somebody took Stevenson. But, oh, everybody knows who I want gone. I want Michael Jordan out of here. I want Michael Jordan out of here. And I'm never an advocate of somebody losing their job, but I want Michael Jordan out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Want him gone. Want him gone. But that's just me. I really need him to let me take Travis Etienne. If he takes Travis Etienne, I'm gonna be devastated. And I'm gonna regret taking 2 quarterbacks. But this is a lesson in attrition too. Yeah, he ain't picking his pick. It's gonna take it by auto. Oh, thank God. these wide receivers are looking kind of rough. Probably should take one now, but I'm not going to. Because if Aaron Jones is sitting there, I'm taking Aaron Jones. But we'll see. I'm hoping Brees Hall is gone too, because I don't want him. MJ's got to go. Yeah, he's gonna take Aaron Jones or Brees Hall. Yep, there goes Aaron. Let's see. Mike Williams. God, I'm worried about Cook, man. Actually, you know what? Let me take Drake London. Somebody's got to be a wide receiver one in Atlanta, right? We'll wait it out, see what happens. Let's see. And then, like, back to this whole Jonathan Taylor fiasco. They want a first round pick? Psh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Y'all ready to give up a first round pick? The Panthers got 4 draft picks last October for Christian McCaffrey, including a second rounder. The Colts would want more to part with Jonathan Taylor, and that's one reason it's tough to find a trade partner. Bruh. Y'all want to give up a first round pick, more than 4 picks to get him? That's the question of the hour. That's the question of the hour. Y'all be like, should we go after Taylor? And then y'all don't think about like what it's gonna take to get Jonathan Taylor. You're gonna have to give up at least a first round pick, and it looks like they want more than what the Panthers got for trade for Tristan McCaffrey. So, do you think the Panthers are gonna give up that type of draft capital? I don't. Now the price could go down, but it's not gonna go down to the point of being willing to use up draft assets and knowing that you got to pay the man next year. I don't think it's worth it for me. I don't think it's worth it. But maybe some of y'all do. And that's why y'all ain't GMs. And that's why I'm not a GM either. So we'll see what happens. But first round picks, nah. And he got hurt last year too. One year, didn't he sign a 3-year deal? And we got him for a pretty good price? Nah, I think we can be riding with Miles for a couple years, buddy. That's my opinion on that. I think we can be around with Miles for a little while. I heard on a 49ers YouTube podcast that are now upset that CMC is getting paid too much. And don't worry, guys, it doesn't get better here. Look, the dude was one of the highest paid running backs in the league, and he's splitting work. I hope so. I'm not. I hope so. I mean, I saw that it was like a miscommunication, but I sure hope they get that cleaned up between now and Monday. I mean, now and week 1. Excuse me. Miles Sanders. Yay. Let's go. Burns is getting paid. No, you ain't got to worry about that one. He's going to get his money. I mean, still that's still 2 years, man. I mean, at that point, Miles will be 29 or 30. So yeah, they're not letting Burns go for nothing. They're gonna pay him, but he ain't gonna get paid till Bosa gets his deal. But we'll see what happens with him. Mm, 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 mm. And we will wait. This is a this is a different staff. You can't go off the past staffs. This is a different regime in Carolina right now. You can't go off. You can't go off the past. We got a new owner. We can't go off that. New owner, new coaching staff, new GM. Can't go off that. All right, I got three running backs, one wide receiver. I probably should start looking for wide receivers now, shouldn't I? Let's see. Slant boy. Yeah, it's gonna be a while. I'm watching the Panthers games at the crib. I got the Sunday ticket. Thanks. Shout out to I got the Sunday ticket this year, so I'll be watching the games from the crib. I'll occasionally do some live streams with Rashad, and I'll occasionally watch some games. Because the thing about doing live streams, I won't be able to hear the audio. I think I might have an idea to fix that problem next year. If he's gonna take a pay cut, maybe, but I don't think we should be out here trading for him. I think that would be a foolish decision. I think that's silly. Just straight silly. And don't worry, Jay. Be glad I'm entertaining these questions because I don't think Rashad's going to entertain them tomorrow. Nah, that'll be a silly notion if we make the decision to do something like that. I think that's wild. I don't think that's a wise thing to do. But we've done crazier things in Panthers land. So, ooh, Sky Moore. If I could do a double pair, I like that. I like that. Let's see. Let's see here. Host for church, guys. If you want hope, go to church. Let's see. But the problem I have when everybody's saying we need Taylor, then why did we sign Miles? That's the thing with me. If we needed Taylor that bad, why sign Miles? Because there's been talks about Taylor doing something for a while. Like this didn't just pop out of nowhere. And the fact that they want a first round pick, you can forget it. That's a doubtful occurrence. Why do we need Kareem Hunt? We already got Miles Sanders. I don't understand. Why don't we use the talent that we have? I'll never understand that. Why don't we use the talent that we have? He sees it. If we needed Taylor that bad, we would have gone for Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt first. Because they would be cheaper. Sky Moore just went. That's unfortunate. Grandizer, like I've been saying already. Miles Sanders didn't come to Carolina because he was going to have to share with people. That's part of the reason why he wanted to get out of Philadelphia. Because he had to share with so many players. He's not going to really get to share with... He's going to have the opportunity to be a bell cow back for us. And we get him at a discounted rate. So... No, we don't. How many Super Bowls did that get us? And it was double trouble, not lightning and thunder, but double trouble. Shut up, double trouble. If I can get Tony, man, that'd be great. But I'm pretty sure Tony's about to go. I'll either get Tony or Sutton. I can't be mad at that. Huh. Tony. Yeah. Sutton's probably the better pick, but I'm going with Tony because I got Mahomes. All right. Fire and brimstone. Sanders was ready to be out of there. I don't think folks understand how much Sanders wanted to get out of there because he wanted to be the guy. He couldn't be the guy in Philadelphia. But he could definitely be the guy in Carolina. I mean, I don't think Chuba Hubbard is putting fear in the hearts of other running backs on the roster. Personally, I don't think Chuba Hubbard's going to be the backup, but that's a whole different discussion. Everybody's a believer in Chuba. Chuba. Shocked you guys ain't got too many fantasy questions, but shout out to Underdog Fantasy with the best ball. Use the code PNP to sign up if you haven't done so already. It's funny, it's crazy. They had a special ordeal for Pick'ems, which I can show you what Pick'em is, so you guys can have an understanding before my pick comes up. So basically on Pick'ems, there's a sport. You do 2 players, and some of them allow you to do them live too, which is pretty cool. So if I feel like they can do higher, I I do a hire here for my man Jonathan Aruz. Even though they might get him out of there, so we'll see. I'm not going to do that today. Somebody thinks that you can do, hold on to me. I'll probably get a notification. Well, no, I probably won't. I won't get a notification. I'll do this in a second. Let me go back to my my draft. Drafts active. Oh, I'm 7 picks away. All right, I got time. Let's do the end game joints. I'll do hire for this guy. Maybe he'll get another chance to get struck out, and then we'll do a hire for this guy. And let's say I can max up to $25 up to $500. But if I do a $25 bet, if I get both of these right, I win $75. So if these two guys strike out again, then I would get $25. So, and then you can do them live too, which is pretty cool. Well, I win 75. So I think both of them are gonna get a strikeout. So we'll see what happens. If not, oh well, moving on. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. I'll laugh if I end up winning that before I log off today. That would be funny. All right, my joint's 1 pick away. Oh, I'm on the clock. Ooh. I'm gonna take you. Nah, I'll take you. I'll take you. I'll take Jamal Williams. Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams. Boom, boom. Bong, bong. You got to make the team first, buddy. Kamara versus Akers for a 5th round pick, full PPR. If you already got your starting running backs in line, give me Kamara. Otherwise, you got to take Akers. That's my opinion on that. So if you go into the 5th round, got your 2 starting running backs, I would definitely take a flyer on Kamara. Because Kamara's going to miss a few games. You got to keep that in mind. But if you need a starting running back, you probably have to go with Akers. It's close, though. Points per game, it might be higher for Kamara, but Kamara's going to miss those first 2 games. But I prefer Kamara personally, but I don't fully trust Cam Akers. I don't think I'm ever going to trust Cam Akers. But got 7 more rounds to go. Take a tight end at some point. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Shoulda, coulda, would've. See here. got a lot. That Arcane's falling down the freaking pike. He might be there when I go back around, which I wouldn't be mad at. Hmm. Um, After the last preseason game, do you think the Panthers will look to make trades for players that are potentially going to get cut? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they got faith in the roster that they currently have, considering the cuts that they've made so far. So I don't think they're going to be out here trying to trade for some assets. So no, I don't think that's going to happen. Hmm. Let's see here. Let's see what I'm going on with the YouTube action. Dealing. At some point, I gotta take a tight end. And there's a tight end I definitely want. Oh, he already went. That was Taysom Hill. Yeah, they got to protect their quarterback too. I mean, everybody's got to protect their quarterback, man. That's why it's so disappointing about how the offensive line has been playing so far these preseason games for Carolina. Um, so it'll be interesting to see. Man, if this guy's still here, I'm gonna have to take him at that point. I mean, the value's too good at that point. Although, although, ooh, Myers is there. Oh, he just went. Okay. They gonna let me take Juju? I didn't think Juju was gonna be here. Come on, man. Let me take Juju. Oh, let me take Juju. I'll take that. I'm willing to take that type of risk. It's still there, but man, I'm getting nervous. Hmm. But yeah, man. Any other thoughts about what we saw in the preseason? I didn't see nothing too crazy. I mean, the leading rusher is still the kid from Fort Valley State for the Packers, Emmanuel Wilson. He's still the leading rusher. I will say, man, I know Green Bay's probably kicking themselves, but I'm pretty sure they want to stash him, and he ain't gonna be able to be stashed at this point. Like those are the type of, by the way, guys. Like when you ask me questions about running backs and who we should pick up, those are the type of players. Like I don't think we're gonna be paying a grip for somebody, but somebody like a undrafted free agent like an Emmanuel Wilson, if he's available on waivers, that's the type of people that we'll pick up. Not no Jonathan Taylor. I mean, what's wrong with the guys we got now? I'm having fun with you now. I mean, based on what we're trying to run, why can't Mingo evolve to a wide receiver one? Just saying. Inquiring minds want to know. We don't always have to get somebody in free agency, man. We can just groom a guy, let him get acclimated within the system, and take a guy there. I think we always get into the habit of it. I am. I'm very adamant on the hell nah for Jonathan Taylor. We don't like as a Panthers fan. I'm jaded. I'm jaded, but I'm also I've seen enough of this team to know that it's too much. Like I think we just there's too many history has shown us that paying for a running back doesn't get us any championships, doesn't get us a Super Bowl. It could win us a division, but it doesn't get us a Super Bowl. We paid Christian McCaffrey. We ain't made the playoff once. Made the playoffs once since when we paid him. We paid Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, which were great players for us, but they didn't really. We didn't make the Super Bowl with either one of those guys. What about Fournette? We made the Super Bowl with Stewart. What about Fournette? Fournette, when he won the Super Bowl with the Bucks, he was no longer on that contract anymore. He was let go by the Jags. So he got paid significantly less to be the running back for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So what about Fournette? What about Fournette? A lot of running backs get that money, man. Mm. No, I don't want anybody. We got guys. Use the guys that we got. Why can't one of our guys do that job? Guess I'm gonna take Irv Smith if they let me. Thielen's gonna be fine. Thielen's gonna be fine, guys. They had Thielen in the slot. They had Chark and Mingo on the outside, so it will be fine. All right, let me go ahead and take my tight end and keep it moving. Make sure it's not the same. Nope, it's not. All right, there we go. Just need to have somebody in there just for that 1 week. Nah, that would be a pretty dope show. Unpopular opinion. I mean, sometimes my takes are pretty good. Sometimes my takes are popular. I think I say things that folks are afraid to say because they're afraid of the reaction. You know, just like when I said that Terrence Marshall was fifth on the depth chart, I got attacked. I got flamed by everybody, which was fine. I expected, but there were a few folks that told me, you know what, I might be close to what you're saying, Dave. And then when folks realized that he was playing with the second team, I said, "Told y'all." But you know, society doesn't like honesty, man. Society does not like honesty, and I'm here to give it to you every week. Hmm. I'm on the clock. All else fails, go with a chief wide receiver. Somebody said the bench. Where has Chenault been this preseason? The bench. You're right. You're right about that. Chenault has not been showing up at these games. All right, we're on the final pick. If you're talking about McCall, we did talk about that already. Unless there's another cut that I'm not aware of. All right, let's see here. I like that one, but it probably won't make it to me. Yep, when you bring somebody in, you gotta cut somebody. That's how it works. True story. I haven't ever since I first got the game because I've been dealing with some personal stuff. I haven't had time to play it. I'm gonna try to play it at some point. I'm gonna get around to it. But Street Fighter Six has utilized more of time than I thought it would. I'm probably gonna throw some Street Fighter Six on after this show's over. After I do my final pick. But yeah, man, this was fun. I mean, I'm pretty much at the home stretch, pick wise. I'm looking. If Cordell Patterson is sitting there, that's gonna be my final pick. That's pretty good value, if you ask me. But I don't think I'll be shocked if he gets to me. So I better go ahead and prepare for somebody else. Let me see. Um, do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Baker Mayfield. That's ugly. Yeah, I'll be shocked if one of these guys don't take Patterson. But then again, they might not have high. They might not be high on Patterson. Oh wow, they gonna let me take Patterson? Oh yes, they will. All right, thank you. I'm thankful. Pretty good value. 2772. So I don't do sports games no more, man. I don't, especially Madden. I feel like Madden's a scam. I can't do Madden. I'm past that era. I primarily play fighting games, the occasional RPG, occasional platformer, occasional adventure games. I really don't really play too many sports games, to be honest with you. I mean, when I was younger, I played sports games, but nowadays, nah, I'll pass. The draft is over, and that's that. I thought about getting a Diablo 4. It's about having the time to do it. That's my big dilemma. But that's the draft, guys. I'm about to hang it up. I'm about to hang it up and shut it down. Tomorrow, tomorrow, me and Rashad are gonna go live to talk about the preseason game and talk about some of these transactions. But until then, man, you guys have a lovely evening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.